welcome here to our setup guide. Here in Extreme Dirt Racing, we got two drivers with us here to help us out. A 410 Phenom, previous champion of the league, ACGI Flex, and then Hot Rod's been coming on. He's been on fire here lately. Old Pops. And as you said earlier, Pops, this is your first time, your first game in the World of Outlaws Dirt Racing. You haven't raced on the previous Monster game, so.
It's mine and Flex. It's Flex is his first game, but I just wasn't into it. My youngins got me into this. The only reason why I got it, and then I got hooked up with the right people, which is Flex and Bevo. That's the reason why I'm sitting in a little racing chair right now because of them.
I was going to count the numerous leaderboard you guys are on, but I knew you guys are on, more than a couple dozen of them here. As you guys have definitely put in the setups and time to get your driving styles down there. We'll go over what we're going to do today. We'll have some general tips and controller settings, wheel settings these drivers run, and then tips and strategies on what you guys can do to improve your own lap times here. So welcome in here, Flex and Pops, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So general tips that I had was run on expert. You're cheating yourself if you don't run on expert. I don't know what your guys' opinions are, but when you first get a game,
Advanced.
I put on expert and run, and that's what I keep it on.
Yes.
Another tip I have is putting time to each track. That's what gets people to not want to do setups here. There's so many tracks, so many classes. But really, find the class you want to run and then hit a track up and really just nail down that track. And then once you get a feel of setups, I feel like you get better at each track, and it definitely cuts the time down of working on each track as you can like put similar tracks together and similar setups to them each ones.
Yeah, from what I gather out of building setups, a lot of times, a lot of your spring ratings and everything are the same. A lot of your settings are the same, and you find you a good. What I did when I first started, Marky gave me a good base. Mark did, gave me a good base, and he told me, he said, "Pops, this is for Cedar Lake." I won't never forget. He said, "This is for Cedar Lake." He said, "But you can take this Cedar Lake, and it can be a base for any track on this game." And I just got
Yep.
to messing with that, and just changing stuff here and yonder to my likings, and just
That's
running,
funny.
track for track.
I started building cars. I didn't care about nothing but a sprint car. I mean, I didn't even venture over into other cars. I just built sprint cars. And when I built my car, it was built for the comfortableness of the car, not for it to go out there and just be fast. And it carried over to every track. You could take that car, people still have it in all gas, no brake Discord as a base. It's put it in any channel and be top 10 on the leaderboard.
I think that's a great place to start. Is you're having a base setup that you guys can plug into each track, and as I said, really cut down the time that you're working on because it is overwhelming to see at all these different classes, all these different setups you got to put in. As yeah, base is a great way to start of each class. Flex, you're good on the sprint cars here, so we'll go to keep your car from drifting right. I know that's a big thing people want to address on these games, and your base setup may help you from doing that. But what's some other things you guys may work on to keep your car from going right, in long straightaways or certain tracks?
Well, honestly, you want the car to go right. That's what a lot of people don't understand. When they come out the corner and their car is going right, they want it to go straight, and you want it to go right. In order to hit a good lap, just like a NASCAR, and you want to push out from the bottom of the corner, go towards the wall, get as close to the wall as you can, and hug it all the way down until you get ready to turn again. That's what a lot of people tell me that. A lot of people tell me that. They come to me, how do I get my car not to go right? You want it to go right.
I think that's great advice, man. Is just drive in, drive into it or drive with
Yeah,
it. As you said, you want to
Hmm.
get
yeah,
right
just
up
keep
into the
them.
wall and swing it, swinging around. I find myself doing that a lot as well, because a lot of tracks you want to go high and then turn down low, and you hit the apex of that track's turn. Specific tracks are
hmm
different ways, but yeah, it's great advice there, Flex, and something I haven't ever thought of was just
Yeah,
drive with it, and you want to go right.
a lot. A lot of people, they're like with the street stock and the midget, you know what I mean? They're like, I don't know how to drive these cars. Well, them are momentum based cars. They don't have a whole bunch of power. 350 horses, 500 horses tops in the street stock maybe, and midgets they have about 350 horsepower, and in real life, and the game mimics real life. And you know what I'm saying? They don't have a whole bunch of power, so you got to keep your momentum built. So whatever, you know what I'm saying, keeps the car wound out and moving forward and forward momentum, that's what's going to be faster. So when your car goes out and it starts drifting to the right, you just let it go where it wants to go. Let it keep its momentum, you know what I'm saying? Let it basically drive itself.
And that's the thing with the video here is we want to go over the basics of each class, and they are different driving styles for each class. Those slower classes are definitely momentum based, where you got to keep up that momentum and not cut your car too low, not get too loose because it cuts lap times down drastically, and auto controls everything for each class on this game. I will say that.
Yes, it is, and that's one thing. Before anybody can be fast, they got to learn how to control their car, and that's I think that goes
Hmm.
back to speaking about what you're saying, RD, about when I was racing on the controller, and me and Flex had this talk before I bought my wheel back in February, is like every time we start a race or every time I come off the corner, I'm on this joystick on my controller, and I'm trying to keep the car straight, but it keeps wanting to go right. But you're fighting it, and every time you fight that car, whether it's coming out of the corner or going down the straightaway, every time you fight that car, you're losing speed, you're losing momentum. And I mean,
We're
it's
talking.
just, it's just a fact, So, and me personally, I'm okay with a controller, but I had to go to a wheel. That's the reason why I went to a wheel. There's a lot of fast guys on controllers. I don't know how they do it. I commend them for it.
Marky being one of the fastest, and Kiwi being some of the fastest guys on the controller. And the
Yeah.
first thing they're gonna tell you is throttle control, burp your car.
And I do that a lot.
Marky says it every race we race. Burp your car, burp your car, burp your car
Yep.
here, burp your car here, burp your car here, burp your car.
And
It's
it is a big debate. Controllers or wheels. What's faster? Some people think wheels are obviously faster. You know, I've
so
seen a
a
lot of people
wheel.
get it done on controller, and wheels will definitely help the common player get faster in this. But somebody definitely can put the time in on controller and be right up there with them.
Yes.
A wheel, a controller, a mouse and keyboard, it don't matter what you're using if you don't understand racing. If you don't
Yeah,
understand the physics of the race car, understand how to get around the track. It's Pops when he first started racing, he didn't know a whole lot, and we took him and taught him. You know what I'm saying? You
I,
got to understand this crap, man. You got to watch real racing. That's a lot of people like Rockstar. When I first started, I didn't watch flow racing as much as I do now. But I watch Flow, and I'm watching it right now. I'm watching the midget races because it helps my racecraft in these games. Learning how these guys get around the track, different lines to use to pass cars, and just Pops. He's always messing with me because I'm always talking about racecraft, man. But racecraft is it's a
yeah.
big ordeal in
If
racing, man. When the guy's sliding up and you cross him over here, and you know he's finna come and cross you back over, you just hit your brakes, let him slide up, and run the bottom, get the fast, good grip coming off, and just being smarter than the average person. It's setups and settings and wheels and controllers and all that. That just makes it finer. You know what I'm saying? It
yeah,
fines the line out.
on top of running the great lap times on here, one thing is racing clean and being great at it. We're talking about the upper echelon of drivers on this game, and a lot of them do race clean, and it's an art to watch cars go side by side, and they both look like they turn the same way, and the hook look like they're hooked to each other, but they're 1 foot apart. And I've seen Marky, J Wall, you guys do it numerous times, even in the 410s. You guys can be side by side and really put it in there. Like I said, slider for slider, and it puts on some great action. But you guys are also putting on an artistry of racing here. Racecraft is definitely having the knowledge of hitting your apex, knowing where to go with the other guys racing, and just having knowledge about it all would definitely help you. And as you said earlier, Pops, you're just controlling your car, getting the control down, not even having a setup in or controller settings at all. Burping your throttle in the
If you
straightaway, start slow, and then learn how to get fast controlling it.
that's
if
that.
you cannot hit a slider time, you're not gonna hit a setup time. Simple as that.
And it's got a lot to do with respect for your other driver too. I mean, anybody can go in these lobbies, and anybody. It's just like real racing. I mean, like it's the same thing
Mm-hmm.
on this game. It comes down to a lot of respect, and I tell you, one of the biggest persons that's taught me that is Marky, because Marky Mark's one of them drivers that he he races you the way he gets raced. So side by side racing is the best. That's
Well,
the best. That gives the best show. You
And
know.
he
as
wants to put on a show.
as you say, Marky wants to put on a show. As you talk about control, Marky is one of the best players at having control of his car. I've seen him put it in places and know what he's doing and be inches away from the wall. It's a video game, but what he does on here is magnificent at some points. And I've seen other drivers do it up top, up
Especially to be
front.
on a
But
controller. To be on a
Yeah.
controller and do what him and Kiwi do, which J-Wall was fast on a controller too. I ain't taking that from him, but
Yeah.
that
them
is
two
what's
boys.
impressive here on the custom setups is to have the control of your car to be able to put it where you want, to be able to hit fast laps even though you're not hitting your best line in the race or whatnot. You're still hitting fast laps and able to put it wherever you want it.
That's
Hmm.
right. And I say to get faster, it all comes with racing. All right, you can get there's right now there's one, two, three. There's 4 pages of lobbies on here. But as me, like a year later from starting this game, and Flex and Bevo, they'll tell you the same thing, and anybody else will tell you, I'm gonna pick and choose what lobby I'm gonna get in. I'm
Hmm.
gonna look at a lot of these guys I've raced with before, so I know I can go in this lobby and I know it's a clean lobby, and they
Well,
fast guys.
take
You
this for
know,
instance too, though. You can race with slow guys all day long. You know what I'm saying? That people that are you're beating, but they're not very fast. You're not gonna get any
you're
better.
not gonna get no better.
People share setups, and everyone's got Kiwi setups now, and that's a big talk in this community. Is Kiwi setups are out, Kiwi setups are out, but you have to drive a car. You said if you're not fast on
Mm,
sliders, you're not gonna be fast on setups. If
exactly.
setups will only help you so far, you definitely have to tweak it to your own driving style. Everyone has a different one. Everyone lets off at different times in the race, and runs different lines, high, low, and different controller settings as well as as you shared yours earlier. Kiwis, Marky's is all jacked up. Not everyone can drive it, but they can, and that's what it's all about. Is finding your own and finding your own style, and learning how to get fast, by yourself or with your own team as well. There's different setups all over the all-time boards, not just one.
Yeah, I mean, I think like season one, we learned that like once you get up to hitting the leaderboard times and you've got a decent enough setup, like it's all driving at that point. Like we were,
Yeah.
Flex would get to where he was tweaking the car and I was finding the line, and like okay, what we found the line. What do we need to do to the car now? But just to like try and get that extra edge and just get a little bit faster, like half a tenth, and we're like, okay, it's perfect.
I mean, setup guide that World of Outlaws dropped with this game that tells you what to tweak, where to tweak it. It don't lie to you. They that me and Bevo, we still got a car, Pro Late model that we built off that setup guide while I was at work and he was driving the car and I was telling him what to change. I wasn't even at home. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there to drive the car or nothing. I was just telling him what to change off what he was telling me he felt.
It's really all just about putting in the time and wanting to get faster and really putting in the time of that class or each track.
Setups go a long way, man. You can take a month on just figuring out what gears. You know what I'm saying? We know just about every car when we get in it. We know about how many clicks to go down on the gear. They're all different, and it took a lot of time to figure them out. But it was a whole community thing. I mean, you had Redneck, Marky, me, Bevo, PTI, other guys going in throughout PTI. Just everybody was helping everybody. I mean, we never really kept it a secret. But if we would have, the game would be different. The setup races wouldn't look like slider races. Like right now, I mean, anybody that just about can drive a late model can go get in the A main because they're all running the same times. Everybody has the exact same car in because everybody's running Kiwi setup.
but I think that's a lot of times that's where you get the bad driving is where people's fast, they're over their
Yep.
heads really, where they have too fast of a car that don't they don't know how to actually drive that car or where
Well,
to
well,
run
that's where
line or
you'll
whatnot. It's just
that's
got
where you'll
good
see the
gear in it.
difference. That's where you'll see the difference in technical tracks. I mean, an easy to drive track, everybody's gonna be fast at it. You go somewhere technical like Port Royal or Williams Grove, your real weed sport, your real drivers are gonna shine.
Lincoln, it shines
Lincoln,
there.
yeah, Lincoln's a hard. You gotta let off the gas.
Yeah, I was
Absolutely.
Yep.
A
happy
lot
I
of people
drove
don't
my
know how to
first
do
ever
that.
E6.
We forgot to mention here we got a third driver. Welcome in Bevo 57, another 410 phenom. Him and ACTI Flex help each other with the 410 setups, and you guys are really dominant over there in the 410s. What's the tips here for the 410 class? I know it's a class that everyone just scrambles out of the straightaways and nobody wants to drive them because they're really tough to drive. But what's your guys' tips for getting fast at it?
Drive it
Well,
straight.
yeah, you gotta drive like whenever you're going into a corner, you want your car pointed like an arrow pretty much. Like you're trying to cut that corner off as much as possible with the car straight. And then like on the straightaway, just keep the car turned left and then like if you're on wheel, I can't talk to controller. I don't know anything about controller. On wheel, like I'm
It's
always
off.
working my wheel to the left on the straightaway no matter what. And with the sprint car,
If you watch,
it's a faster street stock. You got to carry the momentum, so you're always going out to the wall on every. Doesn't matter what track you're at, pretty much. You're trying to run it out to front stretch or back stretch wall to dive the car down to the bottom. Because once you get to the setups for 410, most of the lines move down to the bottom, anyways.
if you watch real sprint cars, and you like watch them on TV at your local track, whatever, their front tires are turning the almost the entire time they're going on the
Constantly
track.
back and forth.
Counter steer, counter steer, counter steer, counter steer, counter steer, counter steer. It's the same way on the game. The
And
more you're turning that front tires, the faster you're gonna be.
My bad.
one thing I can tell y'all that in Flex and Bevo, they know this, because I couldn't drive a sprint car when I first started racing. Once I learned how to drive the sprint cars, it actually made me faster than all the other cars. Because they are the
Yeah,
hardest cars to control.
they are hardest.
And like Bevo said, you want to point that car like an arrow and straight down the straightaways. And to Pop's, to what he said, all these cars drive different, but somewhat similar. Like if you, it said, if you can work on getting it straight in the 410s, then it's definitely going to be easier for you in the other classes.
That's exactly right. And I tell you something that this is going to go for. This is kind of what Bevo says, and it goes for the rest of the classes. Everybody knows PTI put setups on YouTube, so I was in one of his setups when I first started building them, getting a setup from him. And the one thing he spoke on the most, don't matter what car you drive, as straight as you can drive that car, the faster you're going to be. Always remember that.
Four
Yeah, it's
tires are
all
better than
momentum
two.
based. It's all momentum based, man. It's you're racing. I tell people a lot of time when they're like, "Well, how do I know how to drive my car?" Like, I mean, use your ears. I listen to my car the whole time I'm racing. If your motor's bogging, I mean, you're bogging your car. That's probably not the line. You probably turned it in too hard. You know what I'm saying? You might need more wheel spin coming in. You let off the gas too much. It could be a numerous of things. It's listen to your car, listen to your engine, let it talk to you, just like in a real car. You're going around the track in a real car. You gotta listen to your motor, listen to your car. Game does it, man. It's all the mechanics are here. You just gotta use them.
That's what I would say is the best thing about being in the cockpit view is being able to hear and hear around me. Now I can't really see outside of my to my left and right, but most of the time I do know what's there. Sometimes I don't, but anyway, the sounds in racing games are huge. Like I like blasting in my ears any racing game, F1, Gran Turismo, this game, like hearing the motor, hearing what the car is doing, and feeling it through the wheel. You gain so much information on how to be faster and how to stay consistent.
Absolutely, and them's great tips by all three of you guys here in the last 5-10 minutes. And maybe a tip you guys don't know about is going back and watching a quick race. I know you guys maybe may not run quick race. You say you're faster online, but if you go back and watch a race, you guys may watch the broadcast you're racing in, but if you watch your tires and how you turn them, you can really go look at your car and see where it's loose or see where it's tight. And watching a replay of your car in a race, just seeing how the car performs, you can get some strategies from that, watching it from a different angle.
Well, that goes back to running 200% races too, because you got more laps and you can study your car on. You know what I'm saying? It's loose right here, almost every lap. it, the more laps you put in, the more you get to watch and study your car. But I know I would go in and watch Bevo run the car, or Mark he jumps in and watches us run the cars. We do that. We'll get
Yeah,
in
cause
while somebody's online and just join back and watch them.
and that's a great tip because in real time you can tell him like you see you're getting loose here out of two or something. Give him advice in the
Hmm.
mic as you're watching him. You guys go ahead and give your closing thoughts here on Jerry Springer's show.
Turn wheel to wheel contact way off.
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 Turn wheel to wheel
Zero.
contact off,
So is
because
wheel
it
to
will
wheel
help you.
contact? Does it affect online? Does it?
Yes, you,
Yes.
you get close to somebody, a lot of times that wheel to wheel contact will make that bubble in the game, which the bubble's there. It's going to make the bubble bigger.
It's there.
Does that? It's going to make the wheel to wheel contact makes it bigger, and you more often to get into somebody, and it's more likely to mess you up and the other driver up too.
That's a big
I've
tip
seen
because wheel to wheel contact I thought was just for the 410s really for the open wheel cars. But go ahead, Flex, and expel on your thoughts on the wheel to wheel contact.
it's I've seen friendships almost be broken on this game because of wheel to wheel contact and the bubble. That bubble, I mean, it was bad.
That bubble is a big thing racing on here with there's a thing for hitting fast laps and then racing in lobbies, which we're talking about both here. But the bubble is always coming into effect when you're racing side by side, and as Pop said, wheel to wheel contact affects it. So you guys turn it off, turn it down. Has anybody
Yeah.
else, Bevo, you got any closing thoughts here? As you guys
I'll
have
say
put in some great advice here tonight.
the learning how to get into somebody's head that you're trying to get around is probably one of the biggest things race wise, like racing craft. Like putting your note, like if you see a spot and you see a hole and you know he's messed up the corner, but it's going to be a tight fit, act like you're going in. Put your nose there. Get him thinking about you. And he's already made a mistake once. And if you're right there on his bumper, running next to him lap after lap, he's going to make that mistake again. So just being able to play mind games and like, if you tried the bottom one time, act like you're going to go up top. Just anything that makes him want to move his line or whatever.
And I
It
think
works.
that goes to the car control we was talking about earlier, and being able to put your car wherever you want to, and being able to be fast anywhere on the track, not just in one line, as can definitely help you out. Being able to keep your momentum up and learn how to drive around people, to race with them, to get loose with them, to slingshot them, just race clean on here and earn respect out of drivers, and it goes a long
Res-
way and definitely goes to put on a fun time for some good races.
Respect is huge because you could be, you know what I'm saying, the common denominator, man, and everybody's just gonna probably bump you out the way. So yeah, respect is huge.
I thank you guys for coming out here to give some advice for the setup guides. Here for our first video. If this one ends up going viral or getting a couple views, we may do it again. And thanks for coming out tonight. Pops, Flex, Bebo, checking out.
Yes, sir.
Peace.